once a week, like 10 minutes or 20 minutes every day.
Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Tran. I'm a digital strategist and performance coach. I help business owners and team leaders perform better by giving them the tools they need in order to lead their teams. Hey everybody, my next guest today is String Nguyen. She is a creative storyteller, social influencer, and brand specialist. She's based in Melbourne, Australia, and she's worked on a number of brands including Lenovo, Wix, Blinkist, helping them all create amazing content along the way. She's currently working on her own startup, The Trusted Voice. It's helping professionals amplify their online brand and presence. For individuals, it helps them understand and improve their social influence in the space. And for brands, the tool helps them improve their social footprint and provide insights to develop content and support sales. We had a really cool and engaging conversation. We talked about her career. We also talked about our heritage, our culture. We also talked about tips that she's provided with regards to leveling up your LinkedIn profile, whether or not it's for a brand or for personal branding. But without further ado, give it up for String Nguyen. Hey String, how's things?
Life is interesting in COVID-19.
Are you
I think
still
everyone's
stuck?
hating. Yeah. But like, I think COVID-19, everyone asks how you doing. It's like, I'm loving it. It's like, fried chicken, KFC. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying COVID-19.
Yeah.
I know that's like, I think that's different because like I've always been stuck at home or doing work from home and doing remote at home. So
Yep.
it's not like a major transition. If anything, I just noticed like I'm just more focused now.
Yep. Why do you think why do you think the focus is a bit more kind of narrower nowadays? Is it just because you're forced, like everyone is forced to do, to work from home? So everyone's forced to be digitized?
I don't think so. Or for me, like I don't feel like I'm forced. It's just like it's giving me the space to create and to focus on my business. And instead of like, I guess a lot of people like struggle with that because they don't know how to set boundaries. Whereas like I've been, maybe it's just the timing of things as well. Because like my business or my startup, The Trusted Voice, is growing.
Yep.
And it's always been online. And I made that deliberate move since day one because I knew that I had a very like global audience, and what I was doing is like very LinkedIn centric. So even like if you're old school, and I remember like just having conversations with some people, they don't like messaging, and like I don't want to jump on Zoom, but they also, I'm trying to teach them that conversations happen on messaging now.
Yep.
Like we message, even like we even message. You came onto my videos and started messaging me there first, and then started moving the conversation to the inbox, which I think is like the right way of doing it, or the
Yeah.
nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I tend to like be very guarded. But if you use fried chicken in conversations, I'm like, hey, you're the best. I love you already. So it's like clues because that kind of shows that they know my content and stuff.
Yeah, word. Hey, actually, that's a good segue because The Trusted Voice, like, it's in product mode. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
At the moment, like I got pre-seed funding last year with Collider based in Brisbane. And so what they do is they help creative non-tech founders just do startup stuff. And a lot of people get confused with startup. I'm from a non-tech background, but I hang out with a lot of geeks. So I always be interested in the space. And startup is I think the difference between brick and mortar and startup is like one, yes, you are testing out the product market fit, but you're thinking of like solving big problems, but you have to do it in a scalable way. So that's like the major difference between a brick and mortar business and a startup. Like we like solving problems.
Right.
So how do we create a product to do that? So what I noticed was like a lot of like professionals are super smart, but stupid at content. Why are you laughing at? It's true. Like look at LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is a good one. Like there's a lot of smart people there, but they're just like consuming content, but not creating or not leveraging their personal brand, or like sharing their expertise and knowledge in a way that is digestible or makes them stand out, I think. And I just think that with all the years of knowledge, what are you doing to archive that, or what are you doing to use that to leverage and attract new audience, new business, and opportunities?
Yeah, nice. And so I take it the startup is focused around helping individuals to kind of produce better personal branding through content, and just highlighting that through technology.
Yeah, well, I guess I noticed it's just giving them the space because it's a membership program, but we have other products as well, and I'm probably going to show you after this as well, so you could test it out.
Yeah.
Because what it is just like giving them the space and the tools so they could create their own stories and align it with their values. So I use LinkedIn because I realized personal branding for a lot of people doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, what do you mean it's me? So because we like our work and our life and our values are like sometimes disconnected. So you need to like find how do you combine these two things together and have a holistic approach about what you believe in. Because we work all the time, so may as well do something that we like doing all the time.
Yep, exactly. And actually, like this creative mindset that you have, that's kind of culminated in your startup at the moment. Like, how did it all start? Where did it all begin?
You meaning like before I was born, or how far do you want me to go? Because
as far as you can remember.
Okay. I had to start with my mum because she's a refugee from Vietnam.
Okay.
So she escaped the war to come to Australia.
Yep. That's
by herself. Yeah. We have like that. I know, like, I feel like that's a lot of like history, right? Like, so but the thing about her is like she came from a really poor-stricken family, like of 9 kids or 11 kids. Like, it's big numbers in Vietnam sometimes. But she was the only one who didn't go to school because she worked in the farm, so she made money for her siblings to go to school. So education for her was super important. And I'm one of 5 kids. So and being resourceful, my mum made sure she used the like library as a way to not pay for childcare. So that, like, for me, like hanging out the library was like having Google all the time, but in books. And all I did was read, from romance books, which I realize is shitty right now, and to all the way to psychology and hanging out with Sigmund Freud and reading grief methodologies. So that's where like I realized I just had a curiosity for knowledge, and I applied it through all the way to like things that I care about. And I realized, like, even at high school, I hang out with the librarians because I just like hanging out with smart people and geek out with them. And that kind of resonated through my curiosity. And I realized that I graduated as an interior designer because I thought that was a creative way to, do business and creativity together. But it backfired on me because I wasn't happy.
Why is that?
Because I kept on doing the same franchise of hospital, like the same cafes over and over again. And all it does is like reduces the cost, but it offers no creativity. And I didn't like that. So I had to became an artist and did that well, really, like, won grants, had exhibitions. But then I realized it wasn't sustainable because, like, artist has to have multiple income streams, not one income stream, for you to survive, because you need to sit on money for you to like do stuff that you care about. And then that's when I moved to Sydney, and that's how I got into video, like this live streaming platform called Meerkat. Have you heard of Meerkat?
Yeah,
I
remember that.
It blew up, and I blew up with it. Nice. And then it died in 6 months.
But you survived.
Yeah, because I applied the same techniques, like building a community, creating content, being a channel, and understanding how to be engaging. It's when you have all these layers, that's when you become a channel, right? You can't. People ask me, like, what's the fastest way to build up a personal brand? It's like, be a channel. It's like, why? Because you have to show up. You have to know your audience. You have to know your expertise. You have to be super comfortable being awkward, because when you meet me in real life, I'm super awkward. Yeah. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I guess like I just wanted to emphasize that I just found something, or I was lucky enough to understand who I was as a person and just apply that to what I do every day. And personal branding is just walking in your own truth every day.
Nice. And so in that case, you kind of found your calling pretty early, and then you just stuck with it.
I disagree. I had a lot of interest.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I just it's just because like I went through the pathway of like even though there's all these formulas and everything, what I realized is that I had to go through that process because everyone goes through that process, right?
Yes.
You have a lot of interests. You have what's the jiu-jitsu, boxing, traveling.
Yep.
They don't kind of make sense unless you go to Thailand and live there.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, so the reason why I said boxing is because I started boxing when I was a kid, right? And I did it because I had an older brother who was way more gifted, like had way more talent than I did. And, you know, when you have the sibling rivalry, you're like, man, I want to beat him. And everyone's like, yeah, you know, he's really quick. He's really good. I'm like, man, I'm going to work my ass off to, you know, to get to his level and then surpass him. And that's essentially how I kind of did. And yeah, like you said, you had to try different things. So I applied it for boxing. I tried different styles, and then eventually I found one that fit me. And then I just honed that craft. And then from there, I was able to kind of build resilience, you know, and change at the same time, and go through adversities, and eventually kicked his ass. So
did like, but you kept on going, right? Like, or did you stop boxing?
No, I kept on. No. So I do it now recreationally, but I went as high as trying to get to the Olympics.
How did that go?
I got third in the state. So you basically need to be first, and then you just move on. So I got third, but it was a good learning. It was good. It was a good exercise for me because at that time I went through uni. I did the whole, you know, similar immigrant type of story as well. Like, education was a big deal for me and my brothers and sisters, from my parents, because they basically, like your parents, like your mother, like escaped from Vietnam, probably got processed somewhere in like Malaysia or some other Southeast Asia country, came to Australia, little to no money, had to work, zero education at the same time. So, you know, education to us was really, really important. And so, you know, with that in mind, like, you know, I started uni when I was in high school just so I can build up some credit points, raced through uni, didn't really appreciate the time that I had in uni. I just kind of was like, all right, I just need to get the degree, and then I'll just get a job, and then I'll start earning money. And so I went through that, and then I was just like, man, I've done everything for my parents, but I want to do something for myself. And I wanted to represent and have a bit more meaning to what I do. And I love boxing. I still do. And I had like a natural ability to do it. So I was just like, yeah, why not just go for it?
Do you think you had natural ability, or your brother had it, or you just had like a hunger for success?
I think we both had natural ability, but he had a better athletic ability than I did. I probably had a better mental mindset than he did. And so I was able to kind of push through. Whereas, you know, there's that classic kind of tale of fight or flight. So when you're in a situation that you're like, oh crap, what do I do? You either, you know, run or you stand and fight. And so, you know, when you're in boxing, it's actually quite visual. And when that happens, when that occurs. And so in that case, I was just like, cool, I'm going to fight through this. You know, injury, whatever, adversity, people are stronger than me, people are quicker than me. I'm going to fight through. I'm going to find a way to get through. I'm going to cut the ring off. I'm going to walk them down. I'm going to have my defenses up. I'm going to set traps. And so, but you have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations before you get to that point, that experience coming through. So very similar to kind of your situation, like having to try different things, and you found, okay, cool, I like this. I'm going to try and hit this vein as quick as I can.
Yeah. So like, I just had like 2 clients beforehand, and I realized that like looking at my numbers, but I think what it is, it's like they like seeing what works and then apply it on their own. So I'm kind of curious to see after our chat if they apply some of the techniques that I used, and see if that works for them as well now.
What's some of the specific? I mean, if you can go into some of the specifics, but what's some of the techniques that you got them to do?
Like I noticed, like the headline. It's like maybe for me, I'm always like one person in particular just did videos, and it's like you need to start doing other content, like mix it up with text, because text generally gets more engagement, but videos has high brand trust factor. So I didn't say don't do videos. I just mix it up now because you've got the cadence for videos. And I just showed them like some techniques on how to like increase engagement. And the first one is like that first line. It needs to be polarizing. And I think people who like my content because I grab their attention, but I also provide good value and I entertain them. I think my last one was like, professionals are smart, but you're shit content creators.
Yeah, that's attention grabbing.
So do you see what I did there? But it's like I mean it in the nicest way because like you guys spent 1/3 of crafting and honing your techniques, and when I ask you the questions, you guys know the answers to it. So it's not like you don't know your shit, but just the way you deliver it sometimes is not that great. Yep. And then I talk about common mistakes I did, and then just because I know that like it looks quite arrogant of what I did, it's like, hey, I almost failed in English, so but look at me now, I write stuff.
Yes, I did the exact same thing. I almost failed English in year 12 and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I'll be like I'll be talking to my English teacher going, what do I need to say in order to get a pass in this? And then fast forward like 5 years after I graduated high school, I'm like, I got paid to write as a blogger in English. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And they encourage mistakes to some degree because it's authenticity, it's personality, and keeping it real. Yeah.
So like, I think I piss off my writers sometimes because like I'm too rough or I'm too fast.
Yeah.
So I get all these little mistakes, and then, but it's like, yeah, my readers pick up on it. It's like I get free editors, free proofreaders, and like I trigger people, so I don't really mind. It means like they're taking the time to proofread my stuff. It's like, this is a really good post, but I think this is like I think this whole paragraph is copied and pasted. It's like, oh, okay, and then I edit.
Yep.
So I'm fast enough to do that process myself.
Do you use Grammarly?
I do. Yep. Well, but I think my best one was like my friend. Before Grammarly, what I did was like I had a friend explain why, and that probably worked for me. It's like, you shouldn't write like this. Like, this is why. And he, instead of correcting it, he kind of like told me the structure of it. So then it sticks into my brain.
Nice.
Grammarly doesn't do that. Grammarly just tells you like you should do this. And I think the convenience is not that. It's like the reasoning is probably how I learn, and it's like why. And I'm teaching that to my members. It's like, this is why it works. This is, and I share them the whole methodology. Like, I learned from a Avon sales lady. They knock on the door and their target audience is the course housewives, right? So she sells us lipstick, A or B, red or pink lipstick, which is great because like she's go choose one or the other. So the content is like that too. Like you need to like do something that's like A or B because it's the same answer, because both camps will come into it and it's like, yes, I prefer pink. No, I like red. And hopefully the pink and red maybe fight together because then it creates engagement. But you just need to like prompt people to like have conversations. And that post did really well because like it's like, are you writing to me? Are you talking about me? So I kind of knew that I got content resonance with that.
Yeah, cool. So just kind of jumping along, because I'm keen to kind of hear more from you with regards to Gary Vee. And
do you like Gary Vee?
Yeah, I like Gary Vee. I think when I first listened to him or first knew about him when he was on Chase Jarvis, who's a photographer. And so Chase Jarvis did this like live type of podcast. Well, it wasn't really a podcast, it was just a live interview format, but it was in black and white, which was kind of cool. It was very different, fresh. And then he was on it. He was cursing and swearing. And I was just like, cool, I can relate to that because I swear like a truck driver, especially living in Sydney at that time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, cool. And then I realized like he was doing a lot of content around it. And then he had his, then this is when he just started VaynerMedia. And then he was like over at Buddy Media, like in his office. I was like, oh, hey, I know the guys from Buddy Media. This is so cool. So it was like cool to kind of see his story. And I liked it because he also came from an immigrant background. And his story is pretty simple in the sense that it's about hard work and dedication, doing the right things, and producing like in a consistent, regular type of way, and try and find your passion through it. But what about you? Like, how'd you find him and then get to a point of talking to him?
I think my friend, like I was in Hong Kong when I interviewed him, and I've been following his journey for many years. Because if you're in a social media game, there's certain circles that loves him and adores him,
Right.
and they promote him. So he has like a really good, what I call a bit of a cult. I feel like it's less of a cult now because like they moved on, and like there's this certain way where the cult is like a super cult, like they're super fans, and then they get busy or they graduate from their learnings.
Right.
So at the time, I feel like I graduated from Gary Vee's learnings because he's repeating. It's like Voice is the Future.
Yeah.
I like Asia, but he hasn't really done much in Asia.
Yeah.
So this is his his first entry to that. Just context, guys. Like I just want to share some context. And Gary Vee is like someone who has a team behind him, and like he's able to produce quality content because like he's a machine. Because all he does is like act the talent, and he has other people working on it. But I know that he's also hyper aware, or maybe he has ADHD, whatever. Because I know he's like this. For some reason, I just had I know that on Twitter he's like this. He might not comment, he might not like, but he's like this. And video, like what I did before, like I got to interview him, so like I sent a video. And I got my friends to tag and liked it, so it gets a little buzz going on it. And I had a feeling that he'd like, at least seen my video or something like that. Like, and then like because I didn't get an official time to like interview him, so there's only one door entrance in front of like at the conference, so I stayed. I camped and waited. I interviewed other people. I did other things. And then I waited because I know like people will get buzzy around you, like because everyone's talking about Gary Vee. And I like going up and say, "Hey Gary, like I sent a video. Can I have 3 minutes of your time, just to ask you some quick questions?" And D-Rock filmed me using my phone, like hold my phone. I had a videographer, but it felt like really authentic to me, just like being like, "Okay, I only have 5 minutes." So I asked him 2 or 3 questions. And ones that he doesn't talk about social media, even though we're both talking about marketing, it's more about like something that's like topical. So I talk about like sexism in America or something like that. And he's a very good PR person, by the way. He always has something to say about stuff. So that's the cool thing about him. And that's how I got an interview with Gary Vee.
Yeah, nice.
And I use like content cloud, like every time I push it out on LinkedIn, it gets buzzy and interested. So it's a reminder of me to like push it out again.
Yeah, I like it. I think I saw the video on YouTube as I was like getting ready for this interview, and I like the fact that you have MC Jin, ABC, like the song kind of like mixed into it. I was like, oh man, this is so
that's
cool.
a good. He like good editor was quite good. Like I think I didn't edit that video. I was like more the talent. My role was like the director or the person who edited the video gave me a Gary Vee challenge. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I mentally prepared and everything like that. But that guy is a very good editor.
Yeah, it was cool. Because to me, like that song was really, it kind of resonated to me only because of the story of him as a singer, like coming from nowhere and then talking about his history. And then getting to a point where he's like, all right, cool, I'm comfortable where I am and I'm just doing my craft, even though it might be against the grain of a stereotypical Asian. So it was kind of cool. So with that, you were able to get like a bit of buzz. And then in the meantime, you were kind of working on like, is it String Media, like your own thing at the time?
Yeah, like it's still going because like, it's also an example of like a lot of people ask me like, how do I maintain the company's brand and your brand? And I still get a lot of deal flow just for like being String.
Right.
Like Lenovo, like if you look at Lenovo's Instagram, I think there's some photos of me on the laptop already.
Cool.
So that's like still happens. It's not like something I push, but I think being String is like has strong brand equity.
Yep.
It's something that I built up for the last 5 years or like 10 years. So I've like decided like just to maintain it. Yep. It's like, I don't think I want to be like the next Oprah or something like that, but I do want to help more people find their voice. And I think like content creation helps them with that. Yeah.
And you're focusing a lot on LinkedIn. Is it? Yeah, I mean, and you've also been doing the live stream like segments as well. How's that been going lately?
Oh yeah, the live streams, like I complained that my numbers are brought down, right? But it converted a few people because it just, I guess like they just want to see who I am.
Right.
And I have to go back to video because that's like I remember like that's like my magic power. It's like if my energy or my authenticity comes out much stronger.
Yep.
But text is just much easier at the moment, especially when I'm in product. So I did live streams because like I don't want to edit, and editing takes too long. And so live streaming is just my way of like I'm still testing it out, but the numbers are drawn dramatically down because the way that LinkedIn works is that it's not meant for long attention span.
Mm-hmm.
The way like you notice like the videos are shorter, the posts are meant to be like engaging and easy to consume. So like engaging on long live stream is asking for 1 hour of people's time on a social platform that people they can hang out in, but it's not the way it's structured. It's not like YouTube where you could like lean back and chill. So that's why like I think live stream, it's like you have to almost set it in a particular time zone or a particular time and where people could just tune in for that. And know that like if they can't catch you in that time, they could like watch and replay it.
So have you been experimenting on different time zones to like capture like say the Australian Eastern Standard Time and US time?
Yeah. Like my biggest audience is in America.
Okay.
I had to wake up. I think I'm testing out like 7:30 or 8:30 in the morning on Friday times because it's like Friday chill. But I noticed like Fridays is the worst time. So, but I just have to like stick with it and just like develop habits really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just hard work. Video is hard work, people. Even though I love creating content, even now like I'm looking at the wrong way when the camera should be probably like here. So see how I'm optimizing? I'm still optimizing. The lighting has to, so this is me like I'm still learning every day. And every time I do a live stream, I just want to like get better one time, like one aspect.
Right.
How can I improve the quality and the excellence of it?
Yep.
And I just do that just because I know if I make myself big goals, I could achieve them, but I have to do little steps to move towards that goals.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's you get reminded by certain people you talk to, right? And I was recently talking to someone, and he was just like, I was like, "Hey, how'd you get to where you are now, like as a famous speaker and all this kind of stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's just stacking. Like I was able to stack experiences and along the way to get to a certain point." And I was like, "Oh yeah, actually, that is so true." Because I kind of do it with, with what I do with sports, but also with what I do as a as a digital marketer's consultant. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally right. So yeah, I get you, man. I get you.
Yeah. And it's the same with everything. Like that's the thing about what I noticed about professionals is that they have so many years of knowledge. When they learn new skills, they don't like the feeling of crapness.
Oh. Okay.
Especially when they're so comfortable with their excellence.
Yep.
So when they learn something new, it freaks them out.
Yeah, just being uncomfortable, like being comfortable in an uncomfortable zone. Yeah.
Is even a new thing sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So with that in mind, like with live broadcast, I mean, what's your thoughts like over the next, like for the rest of this year? Like, do you think it's going to grow? Do you think like for the LinkedIn platform?
Like, I probably should increase it because like I noticed like people engage in it. I think they want me to like talk to them. So I'm waiting for the comments to come through on LinkedIn or the third platform side to add comments because like there's a few different ways of doing LinkedIn or live streaming. It's like one is to engage with people, or two, you have to make sure it's rewatchable.
Yep.
And I think mine's rewatchable deliberately because I just want to make it more evergreen content. But when you like have conversations with people in the streams, it breaks the flow. So I'm like one of those type of people. Like I overanalyze things.
Right.
So but commenting is important because like it allows them to. It's just a different experience compared to like podcasting. Interactive. It's like an interactive podcast. How can you do that? Is like something that people think about all the time, and I don't think we've cracked that nail yet. Maybe Clubhouse has.
What's Clubhouse?
It's a new trending topic, Meerkat or something like that.
Okay.
It's an interactive podcast, apparently. I haven't had access to it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the live stream with LinkedIn, not everyone has access to that, right?
No,
No. Okay. How did you get access to it?
because I've always been an early adopter of things, and I have like relationships, top voice. I was video centric. The team knows me. I always have access to features on LinkedIn.
Yep. Yep. So I guess for people who don't have access to say live LinkedIn,
Yes.
but they want to kind of experiment on live broadcasting. Would you recommend to like, hey, like maybe just get used to experimenting on say Facebook, for instance,
Yes.
and then build from that.
Instagram has it. Facebook groups has it. Facebook has it. Even YouTube. But if you don't like do it where there's already an existing audience,
Mhm.
and don't do it once. Do it like as if you're doing a show once a week, like 10 minutes or 20 minutes every day. Like build that cadence because that's the habits. Like that's the difference between a person who does it once off and a channel.
Right.
A channel rocks up and create content, and people know what time they go do that stream. It's just like we're building those cult habits or habitual habits for yourself and for your audience as well, so they know when to tune in. Because then it takes about like 3 months to even know that this content or this show exists sometimes.
Yep.
And the first 10 videos will be crap, but that's okay. But you get better over time.
Yep. Yep. So always think of like the long-term elements, but also have the room and ability to adjust along the way to improve it.
Yes, you just keep on optimizing, and I guess like that's why I always say it's like do one thing better the next time.
Yeah, cool. And like what's for you over the next say few months? Like, what are you going to be working on? And what are you going to be working on in the next few months?
Oh, so like I've been working on. I think I want to share my screen. I've been
do
working
that.
on this called the Top 5 report, where you compare yourself to another person, and I feel like that's like the best way to learn. Whether it be me or someone else that you like Gary Vee. And I did one for Gary Vee, and he has way more numbers than me. But by just like learning from them, you get to see a bit of a taste of what is good quality content or engaging content. And hopefully that gives you enough to inspire you to say, hey, like, and sometimes the numbers are scary, but the whole point is just to see what their top 5s are of the last 30 days or the last 30 posts. And this is a work in progress, but I'm hoping to launch this tomorrow. And you could like test it out if you want to compare yourself to Gary Vee. I did one on Gary Vee because it's that like that story. It's like I respect him as a content creator, and he really likes LinkedIn a lot as well.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed he's been focusing a lot over the last like year and a bit on LinkedIn, and then before that it was like Instagram and TikTok. Not TikTok, Snap. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I was on Snapchat as well, but I like closed that loop after 6 months because I realized it was hard to monetize.
Yep.
But the friends I made on it was amazing. I met a lot of influencers, but I would not like. You just need to know when to cut your losses as well.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is a great place to build content and personal branding.
Yeah, definitely. I think also for people like you and I, where our key audience, I guess, are businesses or individuals in those kind of spaces. I think LinkedIn is it's much more authentic in the sense that, I know who you are as a person. It's not just this fake kind of like persona or this persona of like, this person just travels a lot, so blah, blah, blah. It's like, nah, this person writes, this person, I can see the content that this person shares. So it's, I don't know, for me anyway, it's just a platform that allows me to kind of get to know a person business wise, and then also then reach out to them and see if I actually like them personally. If I can get along with them. Yeah.
I think so. I think when I first started in LinkedIn 3 years ago, I was on zero, and I really thought it was like a shitty resume place. But once it came, but that's where the opportunity came, right? Because like I noticed that if I just created good quality content and engaging content, people would just come, and it did because they know what I represent. They want to know how to create videos or create personal branding or LinkedIn marketing. They come to me now, and I had to always had to because I had opportunities to do just video had opportunities to do this and that. So I just had to hone it in on something that I know that I could provide heaps of value to.
Yeah.
And within like LinkedIn marketing, I could teach them videos. I could help them with writing. I could help them how to like position themselves as a brand. So that's why I chose LinkedIn over video. And video for me, I realize is like not everyone's a video creator.
Mhm.
I'm a video creator, but doesn't mean that you're a video creator. But I know that you have an amazing story. So let's just like help you work on that story and
Yeah.
that delivery. Maybe words is your power. Video is not so much. But some people really love videos.
Yeah, I like the theme of story. Like at the end of the day, it's all about the story that you tell and how you tell it. That gets either a sale over the line or gets you a new job or brings new connections here and there. So it's all about the story, which is really good.
Yes, for sure.
Is there anything else you want to share besides the screen?
Oh, that's about it. Well, if you're, I guess that this is where my pitch comes in.
Right.
If you're a professional or leader and if you want to train your staff on how to do better on LinkedIn through authentic personal branding, reach out. I'd love to like have a chat with you and help you.
Yep. And the best way to reach out obviously is LinkedIn.
Yes. Just like I mentioned, like I saw you on Andrew's video.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, with that in mind, thank you so much for your time. And for everyone at home, I'll put all the links and links in the show notes below. And until then, I will see you in the next video. See ya.